And without much more ado, I'm going to swing over for a educational moment with Tony Gyenis, and then we will go in the round robin of who we are, what we're doing, and what's going on. Tony, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Bernie. One of the things I wanted to bring up today is obstacles that we have in our life and the hardships that we have had over the years. It's amazing to know that some of the greatest people that we know have had such a difficult childhood. And it wasn't so much what happened to them, like many people have childhood things going on, and whether it was domestic disputes or whether it was it just goes on and on about the different things that happened to us when we were kids. Some people hold on to them like they're a bottle, and other people hold on to them like they're a straw. In other words, it goes right through them. They still went through the experience, but they never held on to it long enough for them to weigh them down. A little bit like holding on to the Titanic so it wouldn't sink. The idea here is to use the hardship or the obstacles you have to your advantage. What makes you a different person after that experience? And there's so many people like Tony Robbins. I mean, here is a guy that's 6'8", and he was abused by his parents. His mom kicked him out when he was 13 or 14 or something. He had to fend for himself. He was living on the streets. At that time, he says he went into restaurants that would only have an all-you-can-eat buffet because he was a big man and had a big appetite. And that in those days, he says it was $5. Boy, did he get his money worth! And there was one time where or it was $10 or something. And it was one time where across from him, a mother had come in and went to the all-you-can-eat and had her son with her, and only got one plate because she only had the $10 to pay for the meal. So Tony, at that time, he said, even though I'm starving, they need it more. And he gave the $10 to the lady so she could eat. Many other things like that. And that has built this person into an empire using the obstacles that he had in his life. He says, I don't know what I would be if I didn't have such a difficult childhood. And that's one of the things many of us say we don't want. Other people like Robin Williams, very, very accomplished comedian. I think he's been the greatest comedian ever. He would do 14 or 15 shows in a row, and all of it was ad lib. He did it for like an hour at a time. It just comes out of his head, and things. He was such a genius there because he had such a difficult childhood, and he had a hard time letting it go. Jim Carrey was another one. When he came to Hollywood, he had nothing. He was living under bridges. He was living in just places wherever, some friends even, he only knew them for a couple of days. Can I crash at your place for a few days? And he'd have sort of a route, different friends that he would sleep at so he wouldn't overstay his welcome. John Candy was another one. A very difficult childhood. And one would think that somebody would be so abusive to that person. Such a nice-hearted man, but so he was a very nice-hearted woman, or a nice-hearted child. So as a little boy, a lot of people would say that those kind of abuse would have something to do with them. So they would have very difficult way of bringing their own self-love to the point where they can still like themselves. Many people, I have many people that come to me and they have issues in their childhood and they don't like themselves. They think that they're less than, they don't deserve a lot of things. But John Candy turned it all around, and he actually made a movie. I don't know if you've heard it. It's called I Love Me. If you have that an opportunity to watch it, it's a pretty cool way to be able to see how he turned adversity into something very, very different. Marcus Aurelius had a quote, and it said, "Water wouldn't sound so beautiful without the rocks in the way." Okay, back to you, Bernie.